All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Talking some UFC Fight Nights. We are at the Apex this week. 13 fights. There was 12 fights until Monday. A late edition, Kamaka, Dakota Hope. As you can see, the odds, there is odds out, but there isn't a finishing prop right here. Big Marley's still going to look into the fight a little more, put everything up on the site like always. Doing this a day early. I'm flying out tomorrow. And the scheduling note next week, if you guys catch it live, many do watch on playback, but we're going to be doing it on Tuesday next week. Obviously, summers are more busy time. We got stuff going on both sides. And the nice thing about MMA is, I mean, you pretty much know when the fights are, beginning of the week. If they get canceled, it's usually on Friday. And yeah, we update everything, projections, ownership. Fight gets canceled, we maneuver things around. And I usually on Saturday put out like a line movement update from Friday to Saturday. As you guys know, big line movement person over here. So yeah, I'm excited to talk this one through. I mean, we have a $9,900 fighter. Where is he? Right here. We have a $9,800 fighter. A couple monster favorites, which means there's some big dogs. Mid-tier, only one of the 4 fights are expected to finish. It's an interesting one, but prizes are good as always. Excited to talk through with you, Big Marley. How are we doing today?
Yeah, doing good. I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite card, but should be a good time watching some basketball games and these fights with you for this Final Four weekend. But hopefully one of us will profit, and that'll make the card. That'll make it a good one. But yeah, I still got to look into this Dakota Hope guy a little bit. I saw one of his fights, but it was an early knockout, so I got to watch a good amount more. I don't even have a winner in that fight, but I've got all the other ones researched.
Perfect. Yeah, me and Big Marley will be together on Saturday. I'm going to Big Marley's town for the Final Four action, a bachelor party. Big Marley's going to meet up with us. Yeah, basketball, fights, money. I mean, come on, it's going to be one heck of a night, so I'm very excited for that. Let's try and talk through this and narrow our path to get to the winner's circle at on Saturday nights. We'll start it off right there with the first fight. Kamaka, minus 155, taking on Dakota Hope, plus 135. The only prop I see out right now is over 2.5, minus 300. Open minus 211, now minus 300. That'll happen when a Kamaka, which, hold on, he is not 8-4. That must be another Kamaka. I believe he's 17-7. I'll get that checked out. But because 13 of his 17 wins have come by decision. He was in the UFC previously. He went 1-3. 2021 was his last fight in the UFC. But after that, he went to Bellator. He fought at PFL. Tough Enough was his last promotion. So at least he's fighting in solid promotions. But yeah, all I need to see is minus 300 for over 2.5. That'll make this the most likely card, or the most likely fight, at least one of them, to go the distance. And a guy that has only finished 4 of his 17 wins, 8,700 feels like a real tough price tag. I need him to wrestle and wrestle a lot. You do see 1.93 takedowns per 15 in his first stint in the UFC. And the research I did on Dakota Hope, he looks like a striker, and he'll push a pace. Looks like he has solid cardio. So maybe Kai wrestles. I'm definitely curious to hear your breakdown when you do research it a little more and break it down on Friday. But my thought right now, actually, one more thing, line movement. Kai opened minus 190, 20 minutes later was minus 140, and he's taking a little money since. Obviously, the line is very inefficient right now. So the more this line moves, which it definitely can, I'll be keeping my eye on. But we need dogs on this card. I'll take really 80 points from anyone in the 7Ks this week. Plus 135, great money line value. It is definitely looking like a Dakota Hope or a pass for me in this one. How do you see it?
Yeah, that's my early thoughts. I feel like this Dakota Hope kind of reminded me of a young Buckley, just a powerhouse striker. I got to definitely watch more of him. I only saw like 2.5 minutes or something like that, but he's definitely going to want to keep this one on the feet. Kamaka, I haven't seen him since he left the UFC. But I remember liking him. I mean, he was a talented fighter, well-rounded guy. I would imagine in this one he would look to mix in some more takedowns. So that could possibly help us want to get a little bit of them. But yeah, I think that minus 300 on the over 2.5 kind of tells us that this is going to be more of a 2-star fight for me. And I'm thinking it's going to be 4 stars on the Hope side, 2 stars on the Kamaka side. But I'll do my research. I'll write it up over on Ship It Nation, give my full pick, prediction, method of victory, and all that good stuff. So early pick Kamaka to win, but Hope's probably the better DFS play for the price.
Yeah, and I just do want to show, as many of you guys do know, let me just share this tab real quick. If you are looking for all our breakdowns, projections, ownership, education video, more education, ShipItNation.com, this is what you see. Join the nation in the bottom left. You can get in as low as $19. They'll take you 5 days of content. A lot of sports going on right now. NBA, PGA, MLB, MMA, NASCAR, and NHL. So definitely a great bang for your buck. If you're just playing MMA and you want to be with us, obviously MMA is a year-round sport. Single sport MMA, less than $1 a day. You can get in with us, just $20 more. You can get Saber Sim access as well to help you build. If you're with us for the full year, that price even gets lower. So we'd love to have you. Definitely do join the Discord if you do join any package. An awesome place to sweat out fights, ask some questions, get updates if anything changes, line movement, all of that good stuff. Let me go back to this page. Yeah, and it's Kamaka's either underweight or a fade for me if you're making like 15 or less teams, and I definitely will be playing some Dakota Hope. Probably one of my favorite dogs. I'm not sure the upside, and I wouldn't be surprised if Hope has a better inside the distance prop than Kamaka. I'm actually almost expecting that. Hope finished 6 of his 11 wins have come by finish. And let me refresh to see if this updated. Yeah, Kamaka 17-7 with 13 of his 17 wins gone the distance, which you do not love to see at 8,700. Next fight on the card, another one favored heavily to go the distance. Elise Pereira minus 130, Hailey Cowan plus 110, plus 225 for this fight to finish. Cowan, the underdog, slightly better inside the distance prop, plus 415. Pereira plus 425. When I wrote this up, Pereira was plus 385 inside the distance, now plus 425. You don't like to see that. Really easy for me. Again, $800 difference. Oh, it's so I just skipped over the different orders.
Yeah, you're throwing me off on that, but
I'm sorry. Let's just go talk on this fight. To be honest, the Barbosa Gatto fight and Pereira Cowan are pretty much identical. Like the price are there. The odds are very similar. Both favored to go the distance. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. I was going based on the fight odds order. So yeah, we're going to talk Elise Pereira, Hailey Cowan. Again, minus 130 Barbosa, or my gosh, minus 130 Pereira, plus 110 Cowan, plus 225 for this fight to finish. So you see right here on Monday, plus 200 to finish. Now plus 225. The over taking money. Pereira taking a little money on the money line. I have the same thoughts when we get to this next fight, but there's a $600 difference in a fight where I think, in a slate where I think salary is pretty tough. And it looks like Pereira, the striker, Cowan, more the wrestler, push you up against the cage, try and get you to the mat. I don't see myself really playing Pereira 8,400. I'll take 80, 75 maybe, even at 7,800 on this card. So it is Hailey Cowan or pass for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I really wanted to put this as a 1-star because I really have no interest in it. I don't even want to watch this fight. But yeah, I look at it as Pereira striker, Cowan primarily the grappler, and she should be able to take advantage of a green Pereira. But I'm okay using Cowan because she is, I mean, if she was the favorite, I wouldn't complain about that line, to be honest with you. But she's not very good herself. But $7,800 for a grappling underdog, I'm cool with that. Pereira, the only real reason to use her, I think, would be to get different, try and go for that solo 100K in case she can knock out a 34-year-old Cowan. But I would just have a really hard time clicking on Pereira if you have a limited number of lineups. And even if I had 150, I'd be tempted to X her out. But I think that the low levelness of this fight is what makes it playable, just kind of targeting against either low level side. For me, it's going to be Cowan as my preferred play. She's my pick to win as well. I also think she's going to have a lot easier time hitting 10X or more in a win.
Yeah, it's really easy Cowan or pass for me in this one. I jumped the gun, but I mean, I'm pretty much going to copy and paste this next fight. Diana Barbosa minus 127, Melissa Gatto plus 107, plus 195 for this fight to finish. The underdog, again, better inside the distance prop, plus 300 Gatto, plus 525 Barbosa. Both girls more likely to get a submission than they are to get a knockout. Again, 800, pretty much a coin flip fight, very closely lined. $800 difference on a slate that we need some savings, and the underdog is plus 300 and the favorite is plus 525 inside the distance. It's Gatto or pass. So yeah, I jumped the gun on the fights, but it's copy and paste. And I see you kind of see it similar. It looks like you had 4-star, 2-star, 4-star, 2-star. I might even have it 5-1, but I don't know. I mean, just because if they win and score 75, 7,700 and 7,800 have a chance to get there, 8,500, 8,400 a lot more difficult. But yeah, dog or pass in both of them. I see it very similar. And I'll throw it to you for you to break it down. And then which one would you rather click on if you had to?
Yeah, I'm Gatto or pass on this one. I think that Barbosa is probably our better wrestler in this one, but Gatto is a dangerous submission artist. Gatto, I think, is also the better, more dangerous striker, but it could be real close on the feet if it's going by minutes. And if we're going by minutes, neither one of them is going to score well on the feet either. So we need either the finish or we need grappling in this fight. For me, it's going to be Gatto, but we haven't seen her in 2 years. Don't really know what to expect. But I mean, I used to be kind of a Gatto, not really fan, but I mean, I liked clicking on her in DFS back in the day when she was an underdog. So I'll probably go back to it at $7,700 where I'm searching for underdogs. Gatto will be, I'm guessing I'll get at least as much as the field does, if not more, because I picked her to win and I feel better about her than I do Cowan, and she's $100 cheaper than Cowan. So I'm going to end up clicking on more Gatto than I would like to be honest, but not going to be getting any Barbosa this week.
Yeah, we see it very similar. I would pick Gatto in a vacuum if I had to, but I do think she might be higher owned, probably them seeing the plus 300 inside the distance, $100 cheaper. Again, it's kind of like I'm going to play both of them. On some cards, when you're hunting, like when the lines are really short, when you're hunting for a lot of upside, I wouldn't love these two on the card like that. But this card's different. A couple really big favorites, which then makes the 6K range really hard to get to. And obviously really good appeal in the way upper tier, but the mid tier, only 1 of 4 fights expected to finish. So we're not really going to get, obviously, both of these mid tier fights. We might not get too many big scores right there. So 78 could be enough at 7,700 or 7,800 on this card. So yeah, I mean, we started it off right there. Dog as our preferred play. So I will be hoping dogs bark early. And obviously that means as we go up the card, probably prefer some favorites. And that is definitely the case in this next fight for me. We got Azamat Bekoev minus 650 taking on Tresean Gore plus 475, minus 215 for this fight to finish. Bekoev minus 160 inside the distance. Gore plus 550. Bekoev round 1 plus 200. So this line's moved a little bit. Bekoev opened minus 850. An hour later was minus 500. And then this, so far this week, he's taken some money, at the minus 650 mark. So he's 9,500. And what we have a 9,900, a 9,800. He's 9,500. And then the next highest is 93, 92, and all that. So he's kind of priced right in the middle of the guys that are minus 1,000 favorites and greater. And then like that 9,300 range that, to be honest, I'm struggling with a little bit. So curious to hear your take. First thing I see is a lot of takedowns per 15 minutes, but pretty much all Tresean Gore does or can do is takedown defense. I mean, he got outstruck by the grappler in Rodolfo Vieira. So I think the easy path, Bekoev, just strike. He showed that he actually has some questionable cardio when he does try and wrestle a lot. So that makes me a little more hesitant in DFS if he does just strike. Probably needs the first round knockout, but very, very live to do so. What do you think in this one?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. If he is just kind of stuck with striking, then we're going to need a knockout. We're going to need it to be early because he doesn't strike at a slow pace, but he also doesn't strike at a high pace like that we would need at 9,500. I think he is the better striker. He's the more dangerous striker, but Gore has heavy hands. He has okay boxing. He just doesn't throw enough hands at all to really make me like him. All he really does, stuff takedowns and get standing guillotines. So if he stuffs takedowns, it's going to be able to take points away from Bekoev. But if Bekoev can get takedowns, I think he can do whatever he wants on the mat against Gore. He's just going to look levels above Gore on the ground if he can get it there, and I think he can get it there. So I'm interested in playing Bekoev. I like that $9,500 price tag too. It's a lot more easy to afford than $9,900. But man, Yakyaev is going to be somebody I'm also trying to get to. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to be Bekoev or Yakyaev are going to be in a lot of my lineups, one or the other, if not both.
Yeah, I like it. And again, if you are trying to spend all the way up and get there, you have to either play really cheap dogs, but if you're playing 9,900, 9,500, that already takes out at least one on the other side. And that's where the Cowans, the Gattos, the Hopes of the world do make a lot of sense. Yeah, it's a lot easier when you do plug them in to get up to Bekoev or Bekoev or Yakyaev or McMillan or any of these 9K plus fighters. So yeah, Bekoev or pass for me. I'm not interested in Tresean Gore. With that being said, I would be more likely to play Tresean Gore than I would Zucchini or Ribeiro. So do with that what you will. But yeah, limited lineups, I would not touch him. What's up, Big Driggs? Great to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Next fight on the card, one of those kind of higher priced fighters, Lando Vannata making his way back to the UFC, minus 210, taking on Darrius Flowers, plus 180, minus 190 for this fight to finish. Vannata plus 140 inside the distance, Flowers plus 215. So it stands out to me, on Monday, Vannata was minus 255. Now he's minus 210. So some buyback on the Flowers side. And also it stands out, Flowers only $7,300, but he's plus 215 inside the distance. That is another underdog I will definitely be clicking on. Good inside the distance prop, taking on someone that hasn't fought in 3 years. But yeah, Flowers has not been good in the UFC. There's no denying that. So I'm really curious to hear your take on this one for real life and for DFS.
Oh, man, yeah. I don't know what to expect in this one. We haven't seen Vannata in like 3 years. And he was never really a high work rate fighter, but I think he is more talented than Flowers everywhere. I think he would be the better minute winner on the feet. I think he would also be the more likely guy to get a knockout just because he's flashier. I think Flowers has more power than Vannata, but that's really the only edge I would give Flowers. And I think Flowers, even though we haven't seen Vannata in 3 years, I still would give Vannata the cardio edge in this fight. And I just have a hard time clicking on Flowers in any fight because I don't think he's UFC level. If you're going to, it's because he's $7,300 going against Vannata, who I forgot he was even fighting. I mean, did he retire and come back? I don't know. I mean, is this guy coming for a paycheck? Maybe that's a reason to click on Flowers. But this is another one where I would want to make it a 1-star, but you kind of have to target against both guys, and that makes me want to use either side. So I got it as a 3-star because I'm fine going to either guy. Vannata is my preferred play. I think he should win this fight. But I could definitely see Vannata winning and scoring 59 points. So I have it as a 3-star, but it's closer to a 2-star really at this point. And it's another fight that I'm not looking forward to watching unless it's in my lineups and I need it.
I'm going to disagree a little bit in the sense of I would have it probably as a 4-star. The reason for that, it's minus 190 to finish. There's question marks on the Vannata side. There's definitely question marks on the Flowers side. And I mean, the inside the distance props on both guys, plus 140 for Vannata, good. Chris Duncan, 100 less. I think people obviously want to go Duncan and then maybe a spend up above that. So kind of in a weird range. And then Flowers, plus 215 inside the distance for 7,300. Again, against a guy that's been off for 3 years with question marks. That's appealing. Flowers is an easy click, in my opinion, at that price when I don't love too many dogs below. My question to you is, Flowers can't stuff a takedown or defensive wrestle to save his life. Can Lando put on the wrestling shoes? Do you think that is his game plan in this one? Because I think we more than likely need that at 8,900. And if he does, I could see 100 plus. I mean, Flowers is not good when it comes to that.
Yeah, I would think he goes for at least one takedown in every round. It's just that, he's not an active wrestler. It's just if he gets that one takedown, he probably keeps it on the ground for the rest of the time unless he can get a submission along the way. But my worry is, if we don't get a finish on either side, I don't think either guy hits 70 points just going by minutes and what they can do with their, with their wrestling or lack of output. But I'll be praying for a finish if I'm using either side of this one. I just don't know that we're going to get it. I feel like this one's going to go the distance.
You might have to bet the over in this one. You'll get some plus money at it.
There we go. Just to have some sort of action and want to watch it. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, there you go. What's going on, Mateus? Good to see you. All right, we'll keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, $9,300, Alessandro Costa taking on Stewart. Nicoll, Costa -400, Nicoll +330. This fight is -160 to finish. Costa -130 inside the distance. Nicoll +675. So it was -150 to finish on Monday. Now -160. The under taking a little bit of money. More importantly, Costa was -110 inside the distance on Monday. Now -130. And yeah, I mean, disappointing output or performance from him last time output. Nicoll's a pure wrestler, and Alessandro Costa looks to be well-rounded. So if he can stuff takedowns, that leg kick will be money. I think he pieces him up on the feet. Also, Costa -355 Monday, now -400. So Costa to finish and his money line taking some money. I kind of see it that way. But I prefer Nicoll over Gore. I prefer Nicoll over Ribeiro. I prefer Nicoll over Zucchini. If he does win, I mean, he's going to wrestle, and he's probably going to be optimal. So at that point, what did I say? Let me check the odds converter quick. Because he's plus 330, which is 23%. I mean, almost, if I think most of his wins are optimal, so I'll just say 20%, that's going to be more likely to be than his ownership is. So for that reason, I am going to play some Nicoll, even though I don't love it on paper, but do see it the same. If he wins, it's through wrestling.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. And I think that does make sense to click on a little bit of Nicoll there. I mean, 23%, that's probably like 3 times the field or at least twice the field, I'm thinking. So, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with a little bit of Nicoll, and he's going to need to wrestle in order to win this fight. I just think Costa's going to be better everywhere. Costa's a strong enough guy where I think he can stuff most takedowns, and if he is taken down once or twice, I don't know that it's going to be enough for Nicoll. My issue with Costa is that he's $9,300. Another guy that's not a high output guy, so you're really relying on the damage and probably early damage as well, because I don't think he's going to be going for any takedowns himself. So I'm cool with some Costa exposure, but I would prefer to get up to Bekoev if I can afford the $200. Although if he's going to be like 10, 15% less owned than Bekoev, I'm also not against moving a Bekoev lineup down to him and just saving that $200 and the ownership and less dupes. So I do like Costa to get the win, just worrying about how much he can score in this one.
I'm going to come back and have you rank 3 people in 2 fights, because I was really struggling with Delano, Costa, and Vannata. That range, again, and they're right next to each other, and Bekoev's like 200 more than the Costa. You have the 99, 9,800 clear ones, and Duncan's a clear one at 8,800, but like that was like a dead range that I really, really struggled to differentiate or try and rank those guys. So when we talk about the Delano fight in 2 fights, I'm going to ask you to rank them. First, though, we got to talk about the only mid-tier fight expected to finish pretty much a coin flip. Thomas Petersen -115, Guilherme Pat -105, -135 for this fight to finish. Pat +145 inside the distance. Petersen +330. Couple things stand out. Pat slightly higher priced, but now a slight dog. It's pretty much a coin flip, though. Also, this fight -150 to finish on Monday, now -135. So some money coming in on the over. Very easy, though. The striker in Pat versus the wrestler in Petersen. What do you like in this one? How do you see it?
Yeah, I don't like much in this one. I mean, you got Petersen as the underdog who is going to be looking to wrestle. But I just don't think he's good enough. And even when he does wrestle, he might not hit 10x if he wins this fight. And then on the Pat side, I think he is going to be the much better striker, the more dangerous striker. But if he doesn't get a knockout, I don't think he's scoring either, especially if he's going to spin it around on his back. So I think this could be a 2-star, or if we're going to get a knockout on the Pat side, then we're going to need to be overweight on him, which I am okay with. That's what I'm picking to happen. He's going to be my preferred play. But if you're picking Petersen to win, I think it would make sense to be underweight to Pat, overweight to the wrestler. It's another fight I kind of hate. I think it'll be a little bit back and forth. Maybe we don't get the early knockout from Pat. And if it's a 3rd round knockout, it's probably too late at that point. So I don't know. I just don't like it that much, but I am going to take more of a stand on this one, and I'll be on the Pat side.
All right, I'm going to be another fight I'm a little different with you on. And then pretty much my hands just force, it feels like. 4 mid-tier fights. Ricci Jandiroba, massively favored to go the distance. This fight, the only one expected to finish. Pereira, Cowan, massively favored to go the distance. Barbosa, Gatto, massively favored to go the distance. So the mid-tier is weak. You can go stars and scrubs. That's definitely a viable option. But again, don't like Tresean, Gore. Don't like Zucchini. Don't like Ribeiro. Nicoll's questionable. So then you're kind of just running out of options. And I get a clash of styles, the closest price fight, and it's expected to finish. So I'm going to probably be overweight on both guys, and I'm going to hope this fight's optimal. Petersen's my preferred play for two reasons. One, he's the primary wrestler. Even if it does go to decision, he has more outs to win. It'd be very hard for Pat to win or to be optimal in a decision win. And then you can plug in any Pat lineup. You can go to Petersen. With that being said, with Petersen now the small favorite, if that does get to like minus 125, minus 130 range, you could see a pretty big ownership gap because people are going to need dogs. And a favorite that wrestles and a fight expected to finish is appealing for a lot of people. So I almost want Pat to be the favorite or this line to stay a coin flip, because the more it goes in Petersen's side and the more the ownership gap widens, then I almost rather Pat as a way to get different on this card. Regardless, I want to be overweight on both guys. It's not fun. I will be cheering for a finish or a dominating wrestling performance on the Petersen side, but I just really don't like those mid-tier fights too much, and I'm kind of forced into this one. So that's how I see it, but I'll be keeping a close eye on line movement because I do think ownership adjusts a little too much for like 10 cents, 15 cents in closely priced fights like this when the underdog is the favorite. Yeah, exactly. Mid-tier is very tough. I like dog. I like a cheaper fighter, both fighters. That's how I'm looking at this really weak mid-tier. All right, next fight on the card, Jose Delano. Actually, hold on. Let me get out of that. Minus 300. Robert Ruchala plus 250. Minus 110 for this fight to finish. Delano plus 150 inside the distance. Ruchala plus 450. So on Monday, Delano was minus 350. Now he's minus 300. Some money coming in on the Ruchala side. Break down this fight and then please rank Delano, Costa, Vannata all right in 93, 92, 89, but those are all in a row. There's no $9K or $9,100 fighter this week.
With the ranking, I'll start with, I think, Delano. Actually, in that order, Delano, Costa, then Vannata. Just the worries on the whole Vannata fight. I think that fight's going to be slow, boring, and go the distance, but you're just targeting against both guys. This one, Delano, I kind of like Delano. He looks like a good striker, a fast striker. He could be a high output guy, and I also think he could get a knockout. So all of those are solid, but $9,200, tough price to pay, and he probably won't be looking to wrestle at all. And then Ruchala, he is the guy who is the more well-rounded fighter. I think he could put up a pace. He should be looking for takedowns in this fight, especially early in the fight. And if he can get his hand raised, I think he will score more than 10x here. So this Ruchala, he is one of the cheap underdogs. I think I'm definitely interested in clicking more than the field. I think you have to click him a little bit, but he also won't get crazy ownership. And the more the money comes in on him, the more I'll like him as well, because Delano's just unproven. I only saw a couple fights. He just looked really good in those fights, and I like his hand. I like his speed, his hands, his speed, and I think he's going to be a little bit too much for Ruchala. So I'm picking him to get a TKO at some point. I think he can score well, but I like both sides of this fight. I might change it to a 4-star.
Yeah, I got nothing to argue. I don't have a strong lead on the Delano, Costa, Vannata. To be honest, I went Vannata, Delano, Costa, and that was literally just because of the pricing. Like, I can drop a Delano down to Vannata, eat the chalk, main event, other fights, and leave the money and hope he wrestles. Also, it's minus 190 to finish that fight which is the most likely of all three of them, but no strong lean. I've been struggling and probably will struggle, and I don't want to make a hard stand on, I guess, any of those three, too. I have enough stands with the underdogs, with the mid-tier stuff. I do like Ruchala, though, especially seeing that he's taken 50 cents since Monday. And, yeah, even if the line keeps closing, that makes me like him even more. Delano making his UFC debut, maybe a little more unknowns that way. I think Delano pushes the pace, makes Ruchala actually fight, and then if he does win, he scores. Also, below him, Nicoll, who I'm going to play some of. Again, I mentioned I think his win equity and like when he wins, he's probably optimal versus his ownership is a little off, but I don't like Gore, Zucchini, Ribeiro So that means Ruchala is the second lowest I like. And it goes Nicoll 69, Ruchala 7K, then Flowers 7,300. So I really only like 2 fighters, 7K and below. And yeah, if you want to get all the way up to 9,900 Yakiev, you might need a cheap dog. And I think Ruchala is a live one. And if he wins, yeah, he probably scores pretty well. All right, next fight on the card. Second biggest favorite, second highest price. Tommy McMillan, minus 1,400. Manola Zucchini, plus 800. Minus 600 for this fight to finish. McMillan, minus 550 inside the distance. Zucchini, plus 1,100. McMillan, round 1, minus 105. Open, plus 115. McMillan, a grappler. He's minus 140 by sub. He's plus 200 by KO. I see you have it a 3-star. Explain why that you have this as a 3-star and what are you doing with it?
Just the $9,800 price tag is why it's only a 3-star. I mean, it's one side for me. I'm not picking Zucchini. Not even sure why he's in the UFC. I mean, we haven't seen him in like 2 years, I want to say, and he got knocked out in the first round on Dana White's Contender Series. So I was like, oh, so McMillan must have had somebody pull out, and this guy stepped in late notice, but that wasn't even the case. So I have no idea why they're in there. It must just be a setup fight for this McMillan guy. But then I watched him, and I'm like, man, there's no way I'm laying minus 1,100 on this guy in the UFC. If you are at all, it's against this Zucchini guy. So it's going to be McMillan or pass, but that price tag is just going to be too high for me when I would rather find a way to get $100 more for Yakiev, who is always going to be in play for the quick win bonus. And this McMillan guy, I mean, he could put up a high pace. I think he wins the fight anywhere. Probably does put up a big score, but $9,800 just makes it tougher to click on when you got $300 cheaper for Bekoev that will be easier to afford on this card. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get to too much of him, but he also can't be faded because he could completely dominate this fight at a high pace.
You and I see it the same. I have him underweight right now. Part of the reason is like, yeah, Yakiev just looks so much better for 100 more. With that being said, he's going to be more popular as Yakiev. So if you just drop the 100 less and chalk your lineups and hope that is viable. Now, my concern is this Zucchini guy's just so bad that McMillan can go out there and get one takedown in a submission a minute and 8 seconds later, and then you're getting 5 points for a takedown and hardly anything after, and he scores like 99 or 100. Can Zucchini get up? I mean, you want him to when you're playing him. Also, minus 105 inside or for round 1 versus Yakiev, who's plus or is minus 240. Like, that's a huge difference right there. So on paper, he looks a lot worse. 9,800 is a big boy price. But when you're playing the game theory, the ownership stuff, in chalkier teams, you can leave the 100 or you can just plug him in and zero out your money so you can't get Yakiev. I do not think playing McMillan Yakiev teams are really viable on this slate. I think that is very difficult to use all of your salary there. So, but yeah, you could see Yakiev 50% owned or something and McMillan like 22%. And when you look at it like that, he's still minus 1,400. He's taken $300 or $3 since Monday, and he's minus 550 to finish. So when you say it all like that, you're kind of just nitpicking. But Yakiev has finished. We'll get there in a sec. Has finished both of his fights within a minute. So that's a huge range of, or it's definitely a possibility he puts up that first minute bonus. And if he does, it's hard to see McMillan even getting close to that. So yeah, I'm in agreement totally with you. No Zucchini. McMillan, just a way to get different, but I don't love it with Yakiev. Just 100 more. All right, keep it rolling. Just want to say I appreciate everyone watching live, watching on playback. All we ask is if you guys could hit that like button and subscribe button for us. We appreciate it. It helps us out a ton. If you have any hot takes in the mid-tier or any of these underdogs, I would love to hear from you in the YouTube comments as well. But appreciate all the support as always. Next fight on the card, the legend, Ethan Ewing, minus 142, taking on Rafael Esteban, plus 122, plus 130 for this fight to finish. Ewing, plus 215 inside the distance. Esteban, plus 425. I said the legend because, I mean, many probably remember, and they probably didn't go their way, but Ewing stepped in on short notice against Malcolm Wellmaker. Wellmaker was like $8,400 because he was already on the card, and Ewing comes in and spoils the party. Outstruck the striker in Wellmaker. Now he gets a completely different matchup, though, against just a wrestler, as you can see on the stone. 6.01 takedowns per 15 for Esteban. He is 14-0. To be honest, I was kind of surprised to see him as the dog, but I mean, he opened the favorite at minus 215. Very shortly after, he went down to minus like 115, and then slowly but surely money has been coming in on the Ewing side. I'm looking at this, a striker in Ewing versus wrestler in Estevam. What I will say, though, Estevam is not going to sneak past anyone. We need dogs on this card. He wrestles a lot. When he wins, he puts up scores. He is going to be chalky, probably over 30%. So when you're playing Chris Duncan and then you're going to Estevam and then you're going to Yakyayev, you got to be careful what you do with the rest of your team. So I'll just say that, but I think it's good chalk. Like, he easily can shatter this slate if he does win. Yeah, what do you see in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a tough fight for Estevam, but if he does win, he's going to put up a solid score that's going to contend for the optimal lineup, probably be on the optimal lineup period if he wins. I would imagine he's going to have to score more than 5-6 takedowns if he's going to get his hand raised here, and he could score 10 takedowns. But Ewing is going to be the better striker. He's also going to have much better cardio, and I think he can get up from a lot of these takedowns, which could be good on the Estevam side if he can keep Matt returning. But if Estevam slows down or gasses out, I think Ewing could finish him really in any round. I think he's going to have a big striking edge. But if it goes the distance, it's Estevam or pass. I don't think Ewing has any chance of making the optimal lineup in a decision win. So I'm going to have a hard time clicking on him at $8,600, but I think you can because of the TKO equity and because of all the people that are going to be on Estevam. You're just going to kill off that many lineups, and if it's an early TKO, you're going to put yourself in a good position. I'm just not going to get too much of that myself, and I am going to be clicking on that Estevam chalk because he's my pick to win. I think that the wrestling is just going to be a little bit too much for Ewing. It's going to be a different type of fight than that first one was for him in the UFC. And I was surprised to see $1,000 salary difference when I saw the salaries. So yeah, he was the first freaking person I clicked on actually in my first lineup. But I do think that a lot of people are going to be doing that, and he is going to be. I mean, he might get more owned than Moicano when it's all said.
I think he will. I think he will.
Interesting, but yeah, it's going to be those two that everyone's clicking if they're trying to get to Yakyayev and McMillan on this card.
Yeah, I think because of the money line, and I think just because the lack of appeal on the other side, whereas Chris Duncan has a lot of appeal. But yeah, it probably is pretty close. I'm going to play chalk Estevam. When I play him, though, I'm really going to think about ways to get different. Maybe that's when I plug in Yakyayev, and then I go down to McMillan and leave 100 and just hope he outscores him there. It's hard to fade the main event. We'll get there in a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, he could be 37% owned when it's all said and done. I wouldn't be shocked. And that does bring me interest in the Ewing side. Pure leverage, kind of like you said. And another one similar to Nicoll, like I talked about earlier. You got me into this. Plus 215 inside the distance comes out to 31%. He might be like 18%, 20% when it's all said and done. So not only is he under-owned, it looks like, for his finishing equity versus his ownership, you get so much leverage off a very chalky dog that if Estevam does lose and gets finished, he's not optimal. Now, what I will say to that is I don't think all Ewing finishes are optimal on this card. Estevam could dominate round one with the wrestling. Ewing come out, knock him out in round two and score 80, and that's not going to be enough more than likely at 8,600. So I don't love Ewing by any means, but on a card that I'm kind of struggling to get difference, he is someone that I will be looking – I'll be playing a little bit of to get massive leverage from the Estevam side. If he stuffs takedowns, Estevam's still going to keep attacking him. Ewing then should be able to piece him up, and a knockout, obviously, you will take at ownership and leverage on this card. 3 fights left. We keep mentioning Yakyayev, and there he is at minus 1,800 taking on Brenson Ribeiro, plus 900. Minus 1,200 for this fight to finish. Under 1.5, minus 425, open minus 250. Yakyayev, minus 1,000 inside the distance. Ribeiro, plus 1,100. Yakyayev in round one, now minus 275 after opening minus 200. I mean, yeah, I don't see any 1 minute prop on him, but both of his wins so far have been under a minute. I don't know why they sanctioned this fight. Brenson Ribeiro is going to die. It just comes down to when is Yakiev going to get the finish. And also he's 9,900. So there was a quick win bonus when I won on the Sarukian card last year where there was someone that got a quick win bonus and scored, 126 and wasn't optimal because of his price was so high and just how the card shook out with the dog. So that's why it's always, even if he does his job, he's almost a sure lock for 100, 120 plus upside. It's not guaranteed to get there. But yeah, that's MMA DFS. That's what makes it fun. So what do you see in this one?
Yeah, Yakiev or pass. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do against real talent, man. I'm excited about his potential. He's a dangerous dude, and he comes out aggressive, and I think he's going to – if they're going to keep feeding him softballs, I think he can keep getting 1-minute finishes for a while. And there is a line, fight to end in the first 60 seconds of round one, plus 350. So that's like 22%.
That makes me like him way worse.
Same, especially when he's going to be high owned. But I don't think a quick win bonus is his only way to score 120 points. He could just dominate in wrestling. I'm not sure how good this guy is. He just destroys everybody, so you don't get a chance to see how talented he is, over the course of 15 minutes. And I don't think we're going to get to here either. That $9,900, man, I always say over $9,500 I don't love. And especially when I can get Bekoev at $9,500 and probably like those lineups more because I don't like the cheapest guys on this card. I really don't like even Nicoll at $6,900. I don't like clicking him. I don't like clicking Ruchala at $7K. Those are just people I'm willing to click in order to get up to a Yakiev. But at the same time, everyone else is doing the same thing. My lineup's not going to be too much different from them. So the more I think about it, the more I want to get away from Yakiev and hope that he is 50% owned on this card and he ends up putting up 105, and that's probably not going to cut it at that price tag. But I think he dominates the fight, ends it in round one. But yeah, I want to see how he looks against real UFC competition.
I do too. I'm worried that he's not even going to mess around with wrestling because he knows he can knock him out. And if it's like 1 minute and 8 seconds, like I don't think Ribeiro's getting up when he does knock him down. Like he's going to fall like a ton of bricks. And then, yeah, your 106, 104, whatever it may be, is probably not enough. The problem on this card and why he is still going to get so much ownership, obviously the money line, inside the distance, all that, is it comes back to Costa, Delano, Vannata. Like you can poke holes in all those guys, and that's what makes it difficult. I'm definitely not looking to go Yakiev team down to any of those guys and leave that chunk of money. But yeah, you can leave 500 with or you can leave 300 or 500 with the Vannata team or 300 with the Costa team where you can't get up to the Tommy Yakiev stuff, but you do leave money to get different that way. Yeah, I mean, plus 350 is 22%. He might be closer to the 45% range. Not, I guess, yeah, he doesn't need the first minute bonus, but if there's not many dogs barking, which I'm not sure how many are, it makes it a little more difficult. All right, let's go to the co-main event, the most likely fight to go the distance, or at least it's either this fight or the Kamaka fight. It'll be this fight. It'll be this fight for sure. Verna minus 125 inside, or excuse me, not inside the distance. Verna minus 125 on the money line. Tabitha Ricci plus 105, plus 300 for this fight to finish. Verna plus 350 inside the distance. Ricci plus 900. So what you notice on Monday, or granted, 8,300 Ricci, 7,900 Verna. On Monday, it was already Verna minus 115, Ricci minus 105. Now Verna's taking even a little more money, so $400 cheaper, but a minus 125 favorite. Also the way better inside the distance prop at plus 350 versus plus 900. With that being said, on Monday, she was plus 300 inside the distance. So some money has come in on the over. I do not like this fight, but if someone's optimal, I do think it is Verna because I do think she's the one hunting for offensive takedowns and trying to grapple, where Ricci, if she is smart, just keeps it on the feet and tries out pointer. And at 8,300, it's hard for me to see that being optimal. So Verna as the dog or a pass. I still don't even love Verna, though.
Yeah, same. I think Ricci is going to be our better wrestler here, and if she can use that wrestling to keep this fight standing, she probably wins the fight there, just won't score enough. But Jandiroba should be looking to grapple. She's the more dangerous submission artist, which is why Ricci might not be looking to wrestle in this one. And if Jandiroba can get Ricci on her back, then Ricci could be in trouble here. So I am definitely going to be clicking on Jandiroba. Jandiroba scored 124 points in a loss in her last fight. That's got to be the most we've ever seen in a loss. Yeah. So I mean, that gives me hope as well. And it's like it almost makes me think that she could be somewhat like a no Jandiroba, no cash if she gets her hand raised. But she's going to have to look to wrestle and grapple in this fight, and I think she will have some success. But I picked Ricci to win because I don't think she'll have enough success, and I think more of this fight will take place on the feet. But I don't really like Ricci at all in DFS, so Jandiroba or best.
Yeah, I see it the same. If I had to bet, I would take the minus or the plus 105 with Ricci to use her wrestling to strike, like you said. But for DFS, and we're hunting for upside, just for the optimal, it's Verna or pass for me in this one. All right, time for the main event again. First, before we do so, just want to show off again. If you are looking to get over to the nation, we do have trial 5 days for $19. You get Saber Sim, you get the Discord, and again, 6 sports going on right now: NBA, PGA, MLB, MMA, NASCAR, and NHL. Massive prizes. MMA Saturday, NASCAR Sundays, PGA locks tomorrow when we're talking. If you're watching it a little later, we do have showdown content, though. Prizes are pretty big. NBA, MLB, NHL, of course, daily sports. So we'd love to have you if you just play MMA and you want to check us out. $29 for the month, $20 more if you do want to use Saber Sim, but it's a yearly sport. So if you know you're going to be playing every single week, you want our slate plan, the stone, projections, ownership, access to the Discord, education video, you can find that over here in the single sport tab under MMA. Great main events. Kind of a lackluster card like we've talked about, but yeah, regardless of how hammered we are, what basketball game's going on, this and that, there better be, it's either going to be on my phone or it's going to be on the TV, because it probably won't last too long, but it's going to be fun when it does. Chris Duncan, minus 175. Renato Moicano, plus 150, minus 325 for this fight to finish. Duncan, minus 125 inside the distance. Moicano, plus 250. Round 1 props, not great. Duncan plus 425, Moicano plus 800. I'll just throw it to you on this one. I see 3-star, 3-star, and 5-star. Actually, first I will say, Monday minus 190, or Duncan was minus 190. Now he's minus 175. So some buyback on the Moicano side. But yeah, load up on it. Are you going to make a rule to have 100% if you were playing 100 teams?
No, I wouldn't make a rule, but it is my favorite fight to target. And I mean, it's my only 5-star fight. And I guess my other question to you would be, what other fight, if you had to move one of these other ones to a 5-star, what would it be before I get into this one?
Yeah, I mean, that is such a difficult question because of how one-sided those fights are, to be honest. It's going to sound gross, but it's the Pat Petersen fight that you said you might even have a 2-star, but it's really just the pricing. And I totally agree. I wouldn't have any of them as a 5-star, but I think that's then the fight that I'm going to have the most overweight to on both sides. Clash of Styles, mid-tier, expected to finish in a range that's terrible, but I would not have it a 5-star. That just shows how hard this card is, but you kind of want that in DFS at the end of the day because ownership gets a little spread out, but clear slam dunk fight is this one.
Yes, I mean, this will be a 5-star no matter what, but I don't love a 5-star for any of these other ones, which makes me like that.
What's your question? What's your answer to that question?
I don't know, man. I think that it's kind of right as is. And that's what makes me like this fight even more, which I wouldn't be against making a rule if you wanted to go about it, but I would not do it because I think it could be like a second round Duncan win and then he doesn't get there. I think he's going to put up, 90 plus points, but maybe 90 doesn't get there on this card. That's what you're probably hoping for if you're fading this fight. But I think it's just going to be a banger. Could finish in any round from either guy. Both of them are well-rounded. I like Duncan to be the better wrestler. I like Moicano to be the slicker submission guy, but more so when he's in a dominant position. Moicano is not a great nail. He can get his ass beat for a long time. Moicano's solid minute winner on the feet. So is Duncan too. He's got solid volume, but I think Duncan's just going to have a lot more power, more durability. If the fight ends early, I think it's going to be Duncan. The longer it goes, maybe that favors Moicano, but it also could be all Duncan for 5 rounds or until that finish happens. So I'm not sure on this one, man. I like both sides. I'm picking Duncan to win, but 8,800 to 7,400, Moicano gets you up to all those other favorites that we've been talking about on the card. So I don't know who I'm going to end up with more exposure to. My first lineup, when I said I clicked on Estevam, it went Estevam Duncan. So I prefer Duncan when I'm starting my lineup. But if I need to move down to Moicano, then I'm cool doing that.
I don't really have much more to add. The point that you made, I would not make a rule in 100 teams. The reason, like you said, if Moicano gets on top and wrestles round 1 and beats him up there, and then Duncan gets a quick finish, a quick knockout in round 2, that could be 85, 90. Or even then the round 2, Moicano gets back there, but then he slows down. And then round 3, then you're even getting a worse score. And it's mainly due to the ownership. Like this fight might have 92% ownership combined. So if this fight busts at 92% ownership combined, you're playing against 8% of the field. And that's really appealing. Now, that's why I always preach, at least for me, I'm a lot better making a lot of teams and building a portfolio and trying to make each individual lineup good versus single entry. I don't know. I couldn't imagine not clicking one of these two names in single entry, even in 15 or less. Like, I'm not sure that's enough of my portfolio, especially when you're playing against 150 max stuff. When people are putting that in, I just try and get more narrow, and I would make a rule there. But there is a path where Moicano wrestles in round 1, maybe wrestles in round 2, Duncan a second or third round knockouts after being on his back most of the fight, and it busts. But other than that, I mean, all gas, no brakes. This fight's going to be Moicano a bad nail. You can see on the stone. Chris Duncan, he's always doing something. I picked Chris Duncan mainly for the age gap. Moicano's he hasn't been great the past 2 fights, but hey, it's still money Moicano. He's dangerous, and he's 7,400 versus 8,800. So I'll definitely be forced to click the name. I really don't care who I have more of when it's all said and done, like you said. I'd want to be pretty similar, 50-50, 55-45, 60-40. I don't want too much of a stand. You did make me think, though, maybe it's better. Maybe Estevam lineups are better to go Moicano, because I do think a lot of Estevam, then the clear pairing is with Duncan. With that being said, though, if you go Estevam Moicano, a lot of those pairings I think will be Yakiaev, because you'll have the money there. So maybe getting a little different when you do that is something I'll be looking at. But yeah,
and
that's what I got.
Back to your point with the Pat and Petersen being the other possible 5-star. I do think if I avoid Yakiaev, I do like that fight more, just ending up in the mid-range more rather than stars and scrubs type of lineup. So not a bad answer.
Yeah, I like it. Did you have an answer? Can you give me one if you had to choose?
I mean, I would say it would just be Estevam because of him, or it would be like Yakiaev because of him. It's
you can't do that.
Fighters rather than fights, you know?
Yeah, no, I know for sure. It's really hard. It's really hard. That's why you don't have any that's a 5-star. And I totally agree. I would not have any but the main events either. Like I said, I was wondering where you're at. I'm glad you're still kicking it. Shows up right when we are getting out of here. But yeah, any final thoughts, Big Marley? Excited? Not too excited for the real life aspect of this one, but I'm excited because we'll be together watching fights. Prizes are big. And yeah, if you have any sweat in MMA, it could be the worst card of all time. If you have a sweat late, there's no better sweat, in my opinion, than 2 people in their underwear trying to kill each other for a lot of cheese. So yeah, any final thoughts before we get on out?
Yeah, man. Hopefully we do have a sweat going into that main event. That'll be awesome. But I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good weekend. Holler at us if you're in Indy this weekend for the Final Four. But I'm looking forward to it. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
We'd love to see you at the Nation. Again, shippination.com. Join the Nation. Multiple different packages to join. That'll do it for us. Until next week. For my man, Big Marley, I'm Title Town. Good luck this weekend. Be safe. Peace.